I have a woman in my Reddit inbox, and she's consistently sending me stuff from the Twitter. And periodically she does send me things from the African side of Twitter. So she sent me this tweet. It started out with this woman named Mara the Rebel. And Mara the Rebel shared this post down here, but her caption says it all. Your first mistake in life as a woman is to assume a man doesn't know what he's doing. Your first mistake in life as a woman is to assume a man doesn't know what he's doing. So that's when we have started saying, we've started saying this as a community. And if you don't know, no more benefits of the doubt. Doubt their benefits. They know precisely what they're doing. They play a role to get you to do things. Now, let's look at the post that she shared. This woman named Queen, she shared these two screenshots from this man, and I went to his page and I got it for you. But Queen says entitled free labor, because that's what is circled over here in red. She made it bold. She made it so we could see it. But she says, from the same males that will swear that marriage benefits women more than the men. So let's look at what this is all about. He's Nigerian, so please know and understand that I do not necessarily speak the language when they start throwing in words here and there that I don't necessarily know, and I'm not always going to pronounce things correctly, but I do get the general sense of what he is trying to talk about. So his name, it looks like, is Ife Anye, if I said that correctly, but it looks like his name is Ife Anye. He says, don't marry oyibo woman. So don't marry a white woman. Otherwise, you will have to unlearn a lot. Let me tell you what happened. The first day I visited Omalachi's uncle's house, they were having a family party. Guess who was cooking? The uncle. The uncle has a wife, a daughter-in-law, and even my wife, but he was the one cooking for everyone. They didn't see anything wrong with that. When he was done, he called everyone to the dining room. We ate and discussed. I told my wife that such can never happen in Enugu. Men don't run around the kitchen during events when women are there. We have different cultures. Marrying oyibo will bring a crash of culture if both parties are not open-minded. I went over to Facebook to take the screenshot because it's much clearer. I don't exactly know what he's saying completely here, but he said that he's telling his wife how to address people. She can't come in there and talk to a whole group with you guys. She can't talk to the mothers group, the mothers union with, hi, everyone. He says, to us, it's disrespectful. Someone will have to translate this and let me know why this is disrespectful. He says, bottom line is, when you marry outside of your culture and race, be ready to take things you couldn't tolerate from your fellow Onye Obodo, just like your spouse will also adjust. This part right here. Also, if you marry Oyobo, you will likely miss your entitled free labor that our women do. I needed to stress that if you marry a white person, because that's what Oyobo stands for. That's what the lady jumped into my inbox and said. If you marry a white woman, you will most likely miss your entitled free labor that our women do. Why are they entitled to a woman's free labor? That is my question. He says, if you like, no, listen to me. He says, see my list of jobs as a husband to oyibo woman, singer, cheerleader, massage therapist, part-time chef, dog walker, cleaner, storyteller, laundryman, trash disposer, shopping assistant, handyman, driver, financial planner. So it sounds like he's saying that he is a partner that's participating in the house because he doesn't just have someone that's just going to wait on him like he is a demigod or a king or something. And he says, MB, if you think I'm complaining, read Ephesians 1:17. And here he is right here, because like I said, I went over to his Facebook page to take this. And here he is with his wife, that top picture. And like I said, I went directly to his page to grab this. He has 122,000 followers. Let's look at some of the comments underneath the Twitter post. These look like mostly women. So Chidima says, Omo, free labor? Wow. And then Bimbola, she says, this is why they hate feminists. Nobody wants to lose their privilege. Feminists are blocking their chances of getting free labor. Men here in America like to blame white women for feminism, for the rest of us getting feminism. But most of the time, people are getting feminism or getting infected by feminism because women are just tired of being seen as a servant simply because we were born with a uterus. And this speaks precisely to that. Precious says, actually, as a Nigerian lady, if you ever agree to go 50-50 with a Nigerian man, you're the biggest fool ever. Your stupidity should be televised because forget all of the promises he will tell you about. I'll also join in the chores, not lie. He go gaslight your life. Precisely. These women are speaking the truth, but then you will have the men that jump into the comments and be like, that woman is infected with feminism. Joy's at the bottom says, entitled free labor. Now single women are seeing this and saying no to marriage. Women are seeing this. This is the reason why women are opting out of marriage and childbirth, because they don't want to be servants forever. And men think that they're entitled to free labor. Lady Line says, big on the gaslight. And then these two ladies, I'm not exactly sure what those are saying. Now I want to do some of the comments underneath Mara's tweet. Remember, she says, your first mistake in life as a woman is to assume a man doesn't know what he's doing. So let's see what the women were saying underneath hers. Agatha says, what your eyes will see. So she's saying basically you'll have to see it to believe it. But then Mara says, your mouth will be too heavy to say it out. Aisha says, you will learn a serious lesson. T down here at the bottom says they know exactly what they're doing. And then Mara says, for sure, I pity the women who think they are utterly stupid. They're not stupid. They know what they're doing. The tech DJ at the top, she is spot on. She says that's why they also hate that women are calling it out. They don't like it at all. Ife Akam says they know, enjoy it, and want the entitlement to keep going. Now this one that I circled at the bottom, Hidone says, this is why I don't explain nothing to no one anymore. And I can completely understand why she is saying this because, you know, sometimes women get frustrated with continuously saying the same thing over and over. And some people do have to touch the stove to know it's hot. I will continue to speak, though. I know that some people get frustrated or whatnot, but we have to know and understand that socialization and how someone is raised when they are younger is very important and hard to break out of. So some of this deprogramming will take a lot of time. It's getting there. We're moving there a lot quicker because we have so many people talking about it, like the tech DJ is talking about it. They don't like it when women speak. That's the reason why these men and these pick-me's come and attack the messenger. They attack the message all the time because men want to keep that entitled free labor. And for whatever reason, pick-me's want to keep the status quo the way it is. Isosa says, see my list of jobs as a husband. Meanwhile, those are the barest of the bare minimums. My African sisters are living in bondages. They are married to misogynistic demons. Tufia. I don't know what tufia means, but I know that that's an added expression of excitement of some sort. I've said what I've said says, this is why misandry will always be my ministry. Totally sure that this person right here is a man because he says, hope you are married, Shah. And so that's the thing. They always try to make being single an insult, no matter the country that they're in, no matter the accent or the variety of seasoning. Being single is always an insult as a woman. Now we have another man at the bottom, the strong man. He says, everyday man and woman matter. A beg, make everybody single? Nah. And so he's like, why are y'all trying to make everybody stay single? Everybody does not have to be single. People can get married, but they're saying that men need to do their part in the home. And they're like, that's just going to make everybody single. Oh, goodness. Here we go. We got this dude. He says, but he is happy not to be bearing the whole financial burden. There are merit and demerits to marrying a white woman. The issue is that Nigerian women want to be treated like the white women without acting like them. They want a modern man with financially traditional role. To the Nigerian women, to the African women in my network, do y'all work? Are y'all bringing the financial aspect? Are you saying, is he saying that these men are doing it alone? answer this conversation about chores, about the unpaid labor within the home. It is a common thing. We keep seeing it pop up, and I don't think it's going to be resolved anytime soon. This is the reason why, since my audience is majority women, young women to, older ladies, auntie age, grandmas, we're going to keep having these conversations, because at this juncture in time, I do not believe that men are ready to hold their weight or do their own within the home just yet. So women have to keep pulling back because the conversations aren't helping. So what women have to do is just pull themselves up out of the situation and go over there, or do not allow them to move into your home if you already have a space. So this young lady, she's 23, he's 25. She's having an issue with dishes. She posted in the relationship advice subreddit. And where we already are, as far as the BurbNBougie community, do not give your 20s to these dudes, because this could be what happens. All right, she says, how do I, 23-year-old woman, get my boyfriend to stop treating dishes like they're a threat to his masculinity? Off bat, we know that this is going to be some mess, because obviously doing dishes are not a threat to your masculinity. But this is the reason why women should stop living with these dudes, because this is what happens. They feel like they have a wife appliance or a girlfriend appliance, and they don't have to do any housework. But let's look at her post. She says, so I need to vent because this is driving me insane. When we first moved in together, everything was smooth. He was kind, sweet, and actually helped out with chores, washing dishes, taking out trash, even cooking sometimes. I thought we were a team. Here we go with that word, helped out with chores. This is not helping out, because helping out would imply that this is solely your job and he's helping you with your job. They need to participate in the home because they live there as adults. And even if they were not adults, they still have to participate in keeping their areas clean. She says, but over the last few months, something changed. I asked him to help with small stuff like washing dishes after dinner, and he flips out. Legit rants like, this isn't my role. I'm a man, not a woman. I paused, laughed, even tried explaining that helping out isn't about gender, it's just teamwork. Nope. One night I was scrubbing pots while he sat on the couch scrolling his phone, muttering about traditional gender roles. And yeah, I get traditional gender roles are a thing, but when I'm basically running a tiny hotel here, it's not romantic or old school. It's exhausting and honestly infuriating. I've tried patience, humor, and nothing works. I can feel my soul shrinking every time I wash yet another plate while he protests for my principles. Reddit. How do I get through to him that a relationship is supposed to be teamwork, not a one-woman show with commentary from the sidelines? I'm sure the people that have been in my spaces for a while know that I'm just going to say break up and move away from him, figure out a game plan and walk away, because these types, once they are on that whole gender role type of thing, they're not going to get out of it. And I think that as it stands, it's a waste of breath. And I say that as someone who has tried to talk with their kind before. It doesn't work. So the best thing is to extract yourself from that situation, because they don't care to listen anyway. So why stress yourself out about doing it? And once you're out of that situation, you're doing less work because you're not doing his part and your part. So she's going to have to figure out how to get out of this situation. This first comment pretty much summarizes what I think that we're all screaming as I read that. Short Pineapple says, it's super easy. Tell him to get his ish together or you're out. It sounds like someone or a group of someone's has gotten in his ear and he's no longer the person he was when you moved in together. You need someone who's going to be a true partner, not an a-hole. Here's the OP saying, thank you for your feedback. Seriously, you're right. It feels like he's changed so much since we first got together, almost like someone switched a light in his head. In the beginning, he was actually sweet and helpful, even cooked sometimes. Now it's all lectures about roles and what a man shouldn't do. I roll. It's so exhausting because I didn't sign up for a one-sided relationship. But the thing is, and this is something that women need to know and understand, that they can wear a mask for a little while. They can wear a mask till they think that they have their hooks in you, and then they show who they truly are. It's not always a switch going on or changing or something. That this person right here that they're dealing with could be the person who they really are. But what you need to know and understand is the person that you're dealing with in the now is who you have to deal with, not the person that the person was. You have to deal with the now. And the person that you're dealing with in the now is giving you more work because that person is treating you like the servant of the home. Captain on Enterprise says this right here: he tricked you, time to go. He tricked you, time to go. Exactly. And that's one thing that we need to learn and understand. Once the mask drops, or once we start seeing the red flags for what it is, that's when you need to create a plan and execute. As it stands, I do understand that it's a little bit to get out of your living situation. It's not just easily as pick up and take yourself out. It's easier for us to say that than to actually do that if you signed a lease and all of that stuff. But she really needs to game plan on how she intends to do this. Are you going to continue to be the servant of the home, especially since he has decided that he's not going to do anything and he just gets to lay back, luxuriate and having a servant and do nothing? So she needs to come to this conclusion in her head. Now, she didn't really do too much commentating. She didn't come back and update us or anything, but at least as a 23-year-old, people have put it into her brain that this isn't right and dude is a red flag. Okay, Nothing says, I wouldn't even be able to give someone like this a chance to make things better. He's already shared his gross worldview and is 100% incompatible with my wants and needs, period. That's not changing. I'd just leave if someone said, I'm a man, not a woman, about doing dishes. And that's where I am, because we both live here and you don't have a servant. So we're no, we're getting past that. And women are coming to the conclusion, and this is where the whole malfunctioning wife appliance and malfunctioning girlfriend appliance is coming in. We're having the thoughts that we're more than just the servants of the home, the bang maids and the incubators. We're thinking like, I'm an actual human. I wasn't put on this earth to be a servant. So no, we're all going to have to chip in and make this a team effort, or we're not going to be together. At the bottom, Karumi says, I'm with you. That would be the end of the relationship. Once he's living on his own again, is he just never going to do the dishes? Is he going to hire someone to do all his dishes? Maybe call his mommy to do them? And that's where I am. And this is one of the reasons why they need to live on their own and just continue to live on their own forever until this whole red pill BS and trad bro stuff and theo bro stuff gets out of their brains, out of the lexicon, because I don't think that they're changing. I am at the point where I believe that many of these people just need to be alone, and the loneliness epidemic needs to be a loneliness pandemic, because I don't think that they're going to change back to believing that they should have to participate with the chores. Cardinal 29 says, it's just so stupid, isn't it? It's like he has no basic critical thinking skills whatsoever. Who the hell did the dishes when he lived alone? Peggy on the pier says, OP leave. He's not going to change. He doesn't want to. In his mind, he doesn't have to. He fooled you in the beginning and now doesn't have to play the game anymore. We are equal in this relationship. The red pill mentality has entered your relationship and you have lost him to it. Sorry, honey. Good luck. Mary Feather says, who will do them when there is no slave woman to do them for him? Exactly. Maybe he just won't eat. Maybe he'll forever have takeout. I don't know. Twisted Memory says, I have eczema on my hands and my husband basically doesn't let me do dishes. Yay. He does them all, even though I protested a few times over the years because I felt like it was unfair. He doesn't think it's unfair as long as I keep cleaning the bathroom. See? Give and take. I can't imagine being with someone who thinks basic household chores are a threat to his penis. JD Jane says, name as in boyfriend's name. I moved in here on the understanding that you respected me, respected our partnership, and weren't a disgusting sexist piece of trash. The last few months, you started moving away from the first position and towards the second. I find that intolerable. So you either start moving back towards your original position or I'm moving out. Bam. Take that. Take that, screenshot it. Let's implement that. Let me know what y'all think, though. This young lady jumps into my Reddit inbox yesterday and asked me to go over one of her posts because she posted in the advice subreddit 3 weeks ago and didn't get much feedback. She says, I can't tell if the feeling of wanting to break up with my partner is real or overthinking. Number one, you can break up with whoever you want to, whenever you want to, and it's definitely real. But the fact that they're both in their 20s, they're in their early 20s. Yes, you're absolutely able to break up. When you start to sense that things are not right, you can break up you can break up for whatever reason. Let's look at her post though. She says, hi guys, I just want some outside opinions because I am a typical overthinker and I keep having these thoughts of ending my relationship with my boyfriend, but I'm not sure if it's just me getting in my own head or if it's genuinely the right decision. Essentially, my boyfriend and I have been together for nearly a year and it's been pretty good and I do love him a lot. The breakup thoughts are, I believe, coming from a place of insecurity. For a majority of our relationship, he has compared me to his ex, and although it's always been to say I was better, I think the constant comparisons have made me subconsciously compare myself to her. I already want to break up with the boyfriend based on this alone. This is absolutely atrocious. I do not like this, but let's keep it going. Like I said, I've already wanted to break up with him. I became obsessed for a while with comparing my body to hers, my personality and my dynamic with him and the people in his life. The thing is, I don't know this girl. I've never met her or talked about her. So I'm basically going off of what he has told me about her and her social media. She was his first relationship and it effed him up a little bit as breakups usually do. So like I said before, this young lady reached out to me specifically and I can already see issues. She's insecure. She's an overthinker. She doubts herself because probably growing up, because she is early 20s. She says that in one of the comments. Early 20s, she wasn't socialized to believe in herself. She probably wasn't allowed to have opinions. And when you're not allowed to have an opinion, by the time you get out into the real world and you have to make decisions, you have to be decisive, you have to be assertive, you might not have that muscle to flex. This woman sounds like she's not ready to be in a relationship because she doesn't know who she is yet. And that's the reason why she's so susceptible to this comparison that he is putting her through. She's insecure because she doesn't know who she is yet. So I do believe that once she gets out of this, she's going to need some kind of therapy to help her get to the root of her issues. And if she wasn't able to have opinions, or if she got in trouble for speaking her mind or something, she's going to have to get to the bottom of that. All right, let's keep going with the post. This next paragraph shows me that this dude is absolute rubbish. There's been some other things, such as he took me to a spot for a quickie one time that I later found out was near where she lives. And he was so adamant on finding an area around there, even though it's decently far from where I live and even where he lives. That paragraph is so problematic. He really wants to be with that other girl for whatever reason. This dude is rubbish. Please break up with him. She says, there have been some other things that have made me feel a bit unappreciated or questionable throughout our relationship, but overall does treat me well and does a lot for me. We do have some good friendship beyond our relationship, but sometimes I can't help but feel like despite this, it may not be enough to sustain the relationship. I have brought it up before that it doesn't make me feel comfortable to be compared to her and for him to randomly bring her up as much as he did. And at first, he was a bit weird about it. For example, the first time he brought her up, I told him, he said, this story is about my ex. Are you going to crumble? I know it was a joke, but it felt pretty insensitive considering it was difficult for me to bring because I didn't want to seem like a jealous or controlling girlfriend, and I wasn't sure how to say it. Since then, even though we have talked about it, and he did say he understands and it would make anyone feel shitty, I'm just not sure if it's maybe too late considering that since then I still feel insecure, and I think maybe it's just been in my head for so long that I can't help it or stop it anymore. I guess what I'm trying to ask is, would it be better for me mentally to end the relationship, or should I just try and work through it? Why do you want to work through this? He hasn't gotten over his ex, and he's putting that on you. You really just need to break up with this dude. And you're in your 20s. Don't give your 20s to a shitty boyfriend. He's not worth it. He's rubbish. There's nothing about this. There's nothing about this post that says this person is salvageable. Toss him in the rubbish bin. He's not worth it. It's not worth your mental health. And it sounds like this is a young lady that needs to get to the root causes of her insecurities. And I don't know. I'm just guessing. It just sounds like she wasn't able to be assertive growing up, and that's the reason why she's doubting herself now. Cultures of Pain says, I want to be really direct with you here because this is an important decision and you deserve clarity, not more confusion. The ex-girl situation you're describing isn't just insecurity. It's a legitimate relationship problem. Let me break down what's actually happening. This isn't normal comparison behavior. Constantly bringing up an ex to compliment you by comparison is actually a form of emotional triangulation. Healthy people in new relationships don't make their current partner constantly aware of their ex's presence in their mind. The fact that he took you to a hookup spot near her place, that's not coincidental, but rather concerning. Exactly. That's what's red flags immediately. Your feelings are valid. When he responded to your reasonable request with, are you going to crumble? That was dismissive and cruel. You were asking for basic respect. The fact that you felt you had to carefully word a request not to be constantly compared to his ex shows how much you've been walking on eggshells. Here's the question. Has the behavior actually stopped, or has he just gotten more subtle about it? Because based on what you're describing, the damage to your sense of security in this relationship might already be done. The overthinking you're experiencing isn't overthinking. It's your attachment system telling you something is wrong. When someone makes you feel like you're competing with a ghost for a year straight, of course you're going to feel insecure and question the relationship. You said, overall, he treats you well, but constantly comparing you to an ex and dismissing your concerns when you bring it up isn't treating you well. That's making you smaller in your own relationship. This woman gave you all of the answers. This woman gave all of the answers that needed to happen. My honest advice, trust your instincts. The fact that you're having persistent thoughts about ending things is your intuition telling you this relationship isn't giving you what you need to feel secure and valued. Sometimes the overthinking is actually just thinking. Bam, mic drop. No more advice. This woman, the OP reached out to me specifically, but that woman gave all of the information that she needed right there. All right, the OP says, first of all, I just want to say thank you for reading through all of that. I know it was a lot, and also thank you for the response. I genuinely do believe that when he would bring her up or compare me to her, he wasn't doing it with any ill intent or to make me feel smaller. I think he was just coping with his feelings and figuring things out. And saying that, though, I don't believe that he's stupid, that every single time he would do it, he truly believed that he was complimenting me. So it's a bit of a gray area. I think part of the reason I felt I had to walk on eggshells when discussing it was because he has a friend that he always goes to for relationship advice. And I know that sometimes he doesn't tell him the full story or talks to him about it when we haven't discussed it, when we haven't had a chance to fully discuss it. I suppose that just makes me feel awkward whenever I see this friend because it feels like he has this warped perspective of me, which just makes me feel awkward. And then she says, whenever a bit awkward. So that's a bit weird right there, but she's feeling awkward around this friend. I think part of the reason it bugged me was because I felt it took away from our relationship. Like if I met someone in his life, he would compare that to when his ex met that person. Okay, so she's just giving some rationalizations for why she's feeling this way. At this particular juncture, though, I think and I believe that y'all are going to agree with me that this isn't a healthy and balanced relationship for either of them. And whatever reason she's walking on eggshells, it's her body saying that this is not right and she needs to go ahead and break up. Y'all, go ahead, drop your advice in the comment section. From the title alone, I said break up. From the first paragraph alone, I said break up. From the point where he took her to a spot for a quickie. And are you even getting anything out of a quickie except being a masturbatory tool for this man? But he took her to a place that was symbolic to his ex. Gross. Please just break up. Break up, break up, break up.
I saw this video of a woman saying, y'all love telling women to get a divorce. Leave him, leave him. Guilty as charged. That's me. Divorce his ass, leave him, beat him, whatever you gotta do to break free.